picked first team All-America by AP now. That just came out. What's your reaction to that?
I got 2 more years to play.
There you go.
I mean, it's great to do all that, but I can't take all the credit for that. I mean, I got to give my teammates some credit too, because I mean, if I don't get the ball from them, then I wouldn't be able to do the things I did. And just trying to do everything I can to help my team win, and that's what it takes. And, hey, I'll take it.
You guys celebrate something like this, like getting the Final Four, in a similar way that you did an ACC title, or no, because it's just a continuation of things?
I mean, I think we celebrated in the locker room. We were really excited and happy and stuff, but we're still in the middle of the tournament, so it's a little bit different. You know, there's some finality to the ACC tournament championship, so we understand that it's probably a lot more fun if we can win on Monday night. You know, after winning 2 more games, and that would be a little bit better of a time to celebrate. So we still got some work to do.
If I could get you guys to reflect a little bit, looking back on this season, and pick out maybe 2 or 3 pivotal moments that allowed you guys to reach this point.
We started off a little slow defensively. We just kind of outscored a lot of teams. And then we get around to the Maryland game, and we really decided, hey, we need to play some defense. And that's probably the pivotal moment for us defensively. And then we had some tough losses in the ACC play, especially the Notre Dame game. We were up on the road, and that's probably the one thing that changed us to the team that we are now, just because we knew that we couldn't win that game. It's just we kind of let up on them, and then they wanted it more. We can't allow teams to do that. And then we got the ACC tournament, and we really turned it up on the defensive end, and we got a bunch of stops and started the second halves of those games very well. And now we're here. We're playing the same way we played in the ACC tournament. We're trying to just play defensively. And some games we start slow, some games we haven't. And then usually the second half we start off very hot, which we have, and we're here.
Marcus, do you have thoughts on that?
I mean, he pretty much summed up the whole year in like a minute or so. So I would also say that when we played at UVA, that was kind of a big moment for us, because it just showed us what more was left to do. You know, we had a 2-game lead in ACC, but Virginia was kind of still looked at as like the standard of our conference, because they had won the past 2 regular season titles. And, you know, obviously they earned a 1 seed, so they had kind of been the team around here for the past couple of years. And to come up short at their place kind of let us know that there's still a lot that we needed to do. And then I think we did that for the rest of the year, have done it still.
Is there anything different in your shooting right now? Like, is there a confidence thing? Is it more relaxed compared to where things were in January? Is there a big difference at all?
The best difference is it's not talked about as much. I just need to go out there and play. And I've played more relaxed, not just shooting the ball, but just played a lot more free on the court on both ends of the floor. Played better defensively the past couple of weeks. Shot the ball better, been more confident. I've had more assists and all that stuff. So I'm just playing more free, more confident, more relaxed, and the ball's been going in.
Did you, I mean, was that, I guess, a teaching moment for you in the sense that the shot wasn't going, but like you were just saying, the defense, Coach Williams has praised your defense, like even more emphasis on all these other things until your shot maybe could come around?
Yeah, I've always taken pride in trying to be a complete guard, but throughout the middle of the year, I kind of let my shot kind of halt the rest of my game. You know, I was too worried, too much thinking about whether or not I was making field goals and what my percentage was and all that stuff. And that took away from the focus on the defensive end and stuff. I was still pretty solid, but I wasn't the same that I had been, you know, in the previous couple of years. So just letting all that go was probably the biggest thing that's helped me, especially this month.
A lot of coaches talk about kind of the evolution of a team in terms of chemistry and players learning their roles at some point. Was there a particular point in the season when all that seemed to kind of click?
I wouldn't say it was this season. I would say it was last season. This is essentially the same team that we had last season, except for one. And we're kind of a young team then, and those guys were learning their roles. And then by the end of the year, when we got to the Sweet 16, everybody had learned their roles. And we were just a couple players away from winning that game. So, and then that just carried over into this year. I mean, we're a very close team. We love each other. We love to spend time with each other. We love to hang out with each other off the court. And, I mean, we're on the court. We all get on each other. We hold each other accountable. So I wouldn't say it was this year. I would say it was last year when we kind of guys were starting to learn their roles.
Marcus, there's some evidence that this this building in Houston has somewhere between like a 4 and 9% negative effect on three-point shooting. Just curious, you guys obviously rely a lot less heavily on the three-pointer than the other teams there, and I'm curious if you think if this does happen, that could be an advantage for you guys. And then as a shooter, you know, with weird backgrounds, how do you deal with that, whether it's like the ballroom in the Bahamas or domes or things like that?
For the first part of your question, I think, you know, it might possibly give us a slight advantage because we get so many of our points at the basket. And I think, you know, it's easier to make a layup in a different environment than it is a three, I guess. You have to ask him about that. But yeah, since we get so many of our points around the basket and, you know, we get a lot of dunks and easy transition baskets and stuff like that, that should help us. We get, like, I think the fewest amount of points from three of any team remaining. And then as a shooter, you know, you just try to get used to the background, you know, and shoot arounds and stuff. And it's weird, like even playing in Duke is different than, you know, playing here because it's kind of a smaller setting. You know, you gotta get used to the lighting. The ballroom in Bahamas, I don't think I shot very well, so let's forget about that one. But yeah, I mean, the only thing that you helps you not worry about it is that they have to shoot in the same environment as you. So if it's gonna affect us, it's probably gonna affect them as well. So it kind of evens it out.
How much of an appreciation do you guys both have for the journey of Joel James? He's kind of sometimes a forgotten senior kid who just started playing basketball in the 10th grade and, you know, kind of comes from a rough environment there in South Florida and being here and going to graduate and all that good stuff.
I have a deep appreciation for it just because, I mean, my journey wasn't easy as well, but I mean, his was probably a little tougher than mine, just coming up in, like you said, in a rough environment in Florida and just to be able to say you made it in Carolina after playing only a couple years of basketball, I mean, that's very impressive. I mean, I've been playing basketball all my life, and he took him a couple years to do that. So I mean, I have a very, very deep appreciation for it, just off of that.
How have things been different on campus for you guys, just, you know, as opposed to, I don't know, what the winning the ACC championship or whatever the biggest victories have been during your time? How is it different now?
I mean, there's a lot of positive vibes going around campus right now, obviously. People are excited. More and more people come up to you and shake your hand and just clap when you walk by. You know, say congratulations. Yeah, somebody was running, they had some power beats and they were jogging by and they started clapping. Hey, earlier today, I hope that guy's watching this. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I think it just shows you the amount of support we have here, and people really care about basketball, and they're getting behind us and supporting us. And a lot of the people, you know, have told me they're like seniors, and you know, they've watched us, you know, fall short of a lot of different goals and stuff, and then to this year for us to knock out some of those goals and to keep it advancing to the tournament, they're really behind us. And it's pretty cool.
What about JP? Have you guys talked to him since Sunday?
He texted every once in a while, but other than that, he's a busy man nowadays.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him since Sunday, which was a couple days ago, but he's kept up with us through the tournament. Last weekend, after we got out of the first weekend, he would text us some words of encouragement and stuff. So I'm sure he's behind us, and you know, he's doing his own thing right now, but I'm sure he's very supportive.
Mark, do you have any thoughts on Joel and his journey?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, give him a lot of credit for sticking with it through all the 4 years. You know, a lot of people, especially in today's day and age, the transfer rate gets higher and higher every year, and he doesn't play probably as much as he would have liked, you know, throughout his career. But he stuck with it. Coach loves him. He loves Coach, and you know, he's been a great asset to our program in all sorts of ways. He's a leader of some NCAA leadership panel, and he's grown so much in these 4 years, and he's one of our boys. You know, we get a lot of attention for what we've done these past 4 years, but he's right there with us the whole time. That's Big Joe, man, and to see him come through and grow into the type of person he is, and he's gonna have a degree from one of the best schools in the country. So I'm proud of him.
Hey Bryce, when you look back, how important was the UCLA game in Brooklyn as far as you taking that next step, maybe the final step you need to take to kind of be what you've been the last couple months?
Well, I mean, it all started when I would say Kennedy got hurt. I mean, he went down. I mean, that's a good percentage of our points there that we lost, and a bunch of rebounds too. So I had to be able to step up in that regard. So I mean, the UCLA game, it started before that. Was it Tulane, I think, we played before them?
Yeah.
I kind of started to say, hey, I need to be a leader, and I do need to step up and fill that void that when he's gone. So, that's basically what it was. Isaiah does come in there, but doesn't get as many rebounds as I do. And, but just with Kennedy not playing, it kind of hurt us offensively. So I just had to step it up offensively as well as defensively. And that's what I got from it.
Bryce, you guys didn't follow up. A lot's been made about y'all's three-point shooting, or how many points you don't get from there. But you guys are really efficient inside the paint. Is there a number at all that you guys, Marcus has talked about wanting to be from 50% from two-point range. Do you have a similar number that coaches point to you, and what makes you guys so efficient in the post?
Well, I don't really have a number. It's just you get it 3 feet from the basket, you got to be able to convert those. You get a lot of shots from in close, and in some games we miss a lot of them, and the coach gets on us about it, and in other games we can't miss. So it's just, I don't really have a number. It's just you want to be able to just make it. You get that close to the basket, and that's how we beat a lot of teams. We do have a big size advantage against some teams.
Kind of on that note, Bryce, when you were getting recruited, Carolina's history of playing from the inside out, was that something that was pitched to you in the recruiting process? Was that something that factored into your decision making?
Yeah, it definitely was a part of the decision making, but probably the biggest thing for me was just being close to home. Probably the biggest thing, and why not play here? We're in the best conference in America. Coach Williams is a great coach, and like I said, the distance from being right away from home is probably the biggest thing that drove me to be here.
Marcus, other than the applause and T-shirts and hats, have you gotten anything from the ACC or the NCAA for your participation?
No, I don't think so.
They used to give gifts to athletes, like miniature TVs.
Oh, no. That's news for me.
For both you guys have a favorite Roy-ism or like a favorite saying of his, or because obviously he has a unique way of speaking.
Come on, Bryce, come on.
I don't have a favorite.
Did it take you all at all like a period of time to kind of get used to like the Roy vernacular, like daggum, this and that, and Jiminy Christmas, and all these sayings that he busts out? Like, what do you think of that when you first heard old Roy kind of go old Roy mode on you?
Well, when he first started recruiting me, I thought that's how people from the South just spoke. I'm from the Midwest. In Iowa, you pretty much speak with there's no distinct like dialect or accent. So he calls me on the phone. I just figured that's how everyone down here speaks. And now that I've gone to school here, I realize there's varying degrees of Southern accent. But yeah, he's got some interesting ones. I realize it's not how you guys all talk, so I'm sorry for generalizing.
A couple more, and then we'll get Justin and Joel in here. These guys have to go in a second.
Bryce, you had 8 assists at Syracuse from the high post. How did they play you differently here?
Well, they tried to not let me get it. In the first half, I don't think I touched it in the high post, and actually they kind of just double teamed me in the high post in the second half of that game. So it's just I played a lot more games after that. I can't really remember, but I do remember not touching it in the high post in the first half of that game. And coach was emphasizing we need to get in the middle. We need to get in the middle. Big guys aren't moving well, and in the second half we were able to move a little bit better and we were able to get it in there.
Marcus, during your recruiting, did you guys talk about kind of style of play? Like, hey, as a guard, you're going to have these stud big guys, you're going to get the ball into them?
Yeah, one of his main things when he was recruiting me was the importance of the point guard in his offense. And we've seen that with Joel this year. As he's stepped up, our whole team has elevated its play. But yeah, he always said, the point guards and the bigs are honestly the most important. Not directly saying that because then, the wing guy's going to feel left out. But, you look traditionally back on his teams, the Ty Lawsons, Raymond Feldmans, Kendall Marshalls, those guys are kind of what drive the teams to success. And then having all those big guys doing the dirty work down low. So I was really attracted to the role of the point guard in his offense.
This is not necessarily like an NBA style offense. Do you think that negatively affects recruiting or that kind of thing? Do you think kids care about that, or how do you think that affects?
In this day and age, I think some kids think that, but I don't really see a lot of NBA style offenses anyways. It just depends on the type of person you are. Some kids want to go to Kentucky and do those types of things where they run an NBA style offense, and then you got other guys that are like, hey, I know I'm not a one and done guy. I want to be able to develop, be able to I don't know if going to Carolina would be able to help me get to that goal, or just, it's not gonna be 1 year, I just gotta be able to grind it out.
And I think one thing is the college game isn't really an NBA style game. So like, teams can run NBA style offense, but college games are often dictated by a lot more than the style of play. We tried to play our style. Look what Notre Dame did to us. They brought the ball up the court, waited at half court until 8 seconds on the clock, and ran a ball screen, so we couldn't play our style. So I think sometimes, there's only a few schools that truly have a real style of play that they can stick to. Like Syracuse, everyone knows that they have that zone. That's the style of play that they have. Duke's got their spread style that they've gone with. So the styles can kind of be a little overrated, and I think coaches use that to try to get people. But oftentimes they don't actually implement a true NBA style offense because it's a 24-second shot clock, and unless there's 70 to 80 pick and rolls in a game, they're not truly running an NBA style offense.
Looking at, you said in the locker room, you said you already started thinking about Syracuse after the win. A little time now. Do you kind of think how you can approach that game?
Yeah, I'll start thinking about it more now, but I realize I savored that win a little bit more than I thought I would. But one thing you gotta understand is the difference in the two games we played them. They made it a lot tougher to get the ball to the high post in this game. In the game here, especially from the wing. In the first game, we were able to get the ball to the wing and then enter to the high post to get to the high-low action. And they made that harder to do. We had to shoot more jump shots when we played them here. So we're gonna have to, change a little bit of how we attack it to try to get the ball inside every time. And obviously, they don't want us to do that because that's where we have our advantage.
Having played against that zone as many times as you guys have now, does that help with kind of understanding what to look for in this section?
I think it definitely gives us more of an advantage than it would a team from out of conference, that they've had that may have faced them in the tournament and only seen it on tape. Because until you play against that type of length and the way they really extend that zone out, it's hard to know how to attack it. So I think it gives us a little bit of an edge in preparing for it, but at the same time, man, you've seen teams that have played it before, like even Virginia, at sometimes struggle, and it just presents a lot of problems.
Roy's talked a lot about his high school coach, Buddy Baldwin, and him being a mentor. Have you guys had the chance to meet him or talk with him at all?
I haven't spoke with him a whole lot, but he's been around and when we've met him and stuff, but I guess he has less of an impact on us than he does on Coach.
Does Coach bring him up at all around you guys or talk about the impact that he had on him growing up at all?
Yeah, every once in a while.
What kind of things?
So, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Coach.
All right,